Okay, so it is okay. Disclaimer: it's the end of the day. My hair is sleepy and ready for me to put on a headscarf and prepare for bed. And that is exactly what I will be doing shortly. But before I take off all of this and all of these and prepare for bed, I've had several people that follow me that that follow me on Instagram ask me about my some of my posts, and I was doing like my hashtag Santeria, Ifa. So I did want to talk about that, and I wanted to start discussing spirituality on my channel as well. I have been a fan of ancient mystery systems and spiritual divinatory systems um, for at least 13 years. I have been actively utilizing spirituality for whatever purposes of manifestation and um, just bringing things full circle in life and extracting things that I did not want out of my life. Okay, so let's just start there. So when I do videos and I'm posting videos on handbags and things like that, and I'm like, oh, by the way, I got married, all of these things were manifestations that I put out there into the universe, um, based on me vibrating at a certain frequency, as well as setting intentions to acquire these people, these things, these lifestyles. Okay, so I wanted to first start with that. So this is going to be a new type of discussion and a new flow for my channel. And I know some people may not be vibrating to that. That is totally understandable and okay. Um, but this is who I am. So if you follow me, if you have any kind of spiritual questions, concerns, aspirations, or you want to have any of those discussions, please feel free to let me know, and I want to dig deeper because I am a huge fan of spiritual concepts. Okay, so recently, being within the last few months, I was initiated into the Ifa traditional system, and I took some notes just so that I could talk about it. So I wanted to be clear that I do not practice the Santeria religion, which is like a close cousin of the Ifa system. Okay, so I have some notes in my own little notebook, so I definitely want to talk about things. So I'm gonna break this video up into segments, and my hair is sleepy. She's just tired. She's just all over the place. Just just all over the place. So I wanted to talk about my experience um, being initiated, and I want to talk about the Orisha that I work with. And I guess you can compare, and I just want to do like a 101 basic information for people. You can compare Orishas to angels. I guess that's the best comparison that I could think of. In the Judeo-Christian system, Orisha would be comparable to angels. The Orisha were here when the earth was created. When people were created, certain energies existed, certain aspects of the Orisha exist in us as humans. And you can see some similarities in most religious systems when it comes to the creation stories and mythos in some other cultures. So I wanted to put that out there, and to also preface by saying that the Orisha that I was crowned into, or the Orisha who I was washed into, was or is Oya. And this is a bead or an eleke, or cholera. And my Spanish is not the best, so please forgive me if I'm butchering words. I know these words, I know what they mean, I know how to write them, I know how to, see them and understand them, but my articulation is not the greatest. And ironically enough, after I took my DNA test and realized that I was over 50% Nigerian and the rest remaining ethnicity being West Africa, I realized why I was so, hold on. Okay, so I'm back. Sorry, guys. So I realized why I was able to learn the Yoruba religion and why I was able to grasp the concept so quickly because my ancestors spoke this language. I, in another life, spoke this language. So, the antiquity of the religion or the tradition has spoken to me for as long as I've known about the tradition. And I did not get introduced to this particular path until I moved to Georgia, which was in 2007. So there's several subcultures that exist outside of the traditions and the religious systems that we're raised in, that we're baptized in, that we're taught about when we're younger. And so many of us don't stray. For me, I grew up in a house with a great grandmother who was a root worker, or someone who was able to deal with spirits and haints, as she called them, and someone who could see into the future before things actually happen. And I've seen her legit predict things, and as things were happening, I've seen her respond and react prior to the actual event occurring. So this was some knowledge that I've been knowing about my entire life, about spirituality and discernment, and just working with energies that are invisible on the third dimension realm or the earth plane to most of us. Now, I can tap in and I see things all the time, but it has to be certain um, situations, which I'll explain some of those situations later. But so I wanted to talk about just briefly some different things about the Yoruba tradition, and then I want to make some more videos to follow up to kind of dig a little bit deeper. And it is very um invigorating to be able to express myself on this level. For a lot of us, we keep these specific spiritual views hidden. They're not accepted, they're shunned, especially if you live in a Christian country. So I want to actually just thank the Most High that I do have the freedom of speech to express myself, and to help others and be a voice, because I have so many people that have come to me, family members, friends, my whole life, for spiritual advice, because my great grandmother passed down those gifts to me, and I've never shared this with my YouTube channel, my YouTube family, because I didn't create the channel for that. But this is another aspect or element of who I am as a person, so I definitely want to bring that to this channel. So some notes that I have written about the Yoruba tradition. Okay, so this particular religious view or traditional view, because, and I keep saying traditional view because some people don't consider Ifa to be a religion. You have people that get initiated into the Ifa tradition that are still Christian, that are Muslim, that are whatever religious view, or that don't have a religious view at all, because it is a system that consists of scientific results, mathematical measurements, and elemental and earth energies. And it even can correlate to personalities in us as humans in a certain sense, and even down to chakras, which I want to get into all of that in later videos. But again, I do have notes, so I'm trying to stick to those notes right now. um so when it comes to the occult, some people can say the Ifa tradition is an occultic tradition, but I mean, so can Christianity be. Anything that you do, that you're calling on someone or something that's unseen, can be considered occultic. And also, the Bible, my great grandmother that I was raised by didn't go to church, but she was an Eastern Star, and she used her Bible, but not for the same purposes that people who go to church use their Bible for. So I just wanted to put those things out there as well. So the Orisha can kind of be described as angelic beings in a way. And for me, the Orisha that I um the Orisha that I deal with, Oya, is a deity that you don't want to mess with, okay? So let's just say that. So everybody has certain personalities and characteristics of themselves that are more pronounced than others. I'm a handbag girl, I'm a diva, I'm very, feminine and all of those things. But if somebody were to mess with one of my children, one of my, little brother, my niece, nephew, I'm from Memphis, they're going to get Memphis out of me really quickly. And somebody is going to have to come and get me. And it's not going to be pretty. And at that point, I don't even care what the consequences are. So that's the kind of energy that I've always had my whole life. I've learned to keep myself beneath a 3, because if I go to a 4, 5, 6 and get close to anywhere near 10, it's just over with. And my dad died a year ago, and honestly, I've been feeling more and more of the energy of Oya, which is a person's energy on earth that could be considered like a storm or a wind. um, just the energy that carries a machete and just cuts things off, knocks trees down. So since my dad died, 3 trees have fallen. One on my aunt's house, who was his older sister. And ironically, the tree fell on her house right after I picked up his cremains, which my dad was cremated. And when he was young, he tied someone to a tree. And like, I don't know what this whole correlation with trees means to anyone else, but I know Oya's name, she tore, and she's known to uproot trees, uproot situations, and change things. And it's the greatest change. And I remember studying African American rhetoric in college and learning about Marcus Garvey, and him talking about look for me in a whirlwind, and how when he died he was going to be so much stronger and powerful because he didn't have a human body to hold him down anymore. And that's the best description of Oya that I can come up with. Look for me in the whirlwind. Oya is the whirlwind, but she's a whirlwind of change. After that change is done, things are renewed. When I got my first Reiki session, the person who did the Reiki healing on me had a tree which name was Eiffel, which was a 115-year-old tree, which was down the street from my college that I went to in my hometown in Memphis, which was also down the street from the hospice facility my dad died in. So this tree, Eiffel, fell after I got my Reiki session. And the Reiki healer let me know how her and her dog Luna had to stay at a hotel. And I was just kind of keeping up with her and making sure she was okay. And I just realized, like, these trees are, like, coming down. And then I had a friend who we dated a while back, but we never got serious. And me and her started talking again 5 years later, recently. And guess what? She had a tree fall on her house. So I was like, I was planning to go and visit her, and next thing you know, a tree fell. So I had to like put these trees in perspective, and my wife was like, "What's up with you and these trees?" And I was like, so and so yeah, so that's the kind of energy that has surrounded me with Oya. And I do have some other stories. I have people in my life, friends and family members, that are going to be on the videos with me to tell you guys this stuff is not, I cannot make these things up. This stuff is not make believe, okay? People who do not believe in spirituality, I'm not here to convert anybody. I'm not here to tell anybody believe me because I'm saying this and that. You do you. But I'm for those of us out there who know what's up, this is who this video is for. And I can honestly say that it's going to be multiple videos because I haven't even started on my list, y'all. But anyway. Okay. So let me see. So the Orishas can be viewed as the same way you would view angels. And I went to this beautiful Archangel Michael temple in Florida a year ago. Oh my God, it was beautiful. The most clean botanica energy you can imagine. And my dog, that's why I keep looking down there, and that's why I had to stop a few minutes ago, because my dog thought he was slick and he was gonna just, I have a quilt that's on the floor because I need to put it in the washer tomorrow. So he thought he was just gonna snuggle up and get in there. Go get in the bed. Good night. Because he was in trash earlier today, so he's still in trouble, even though he just came back from Bojangles and I bought him some mashed potatoes, so he should be fine. But anyway, so the angelic forces. But when you think of angels, we all think of these cute little, the little baby angels. They're naked with the wings. Just like when people think of fairies, they think of the little cute fairies with Tinkerbell. No. I'm here to bust bubbles. No, 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 no. My experience with these deities are totally different. They have not harmed me, but they not what's the word? If you're discussing food, you would say palatable. So they're not, because I don't want to be disrespectful, but they don't look how we are taught that they look, and they don't look how we expect them to look, okay? So these forces all create specific energies in combinations, and these energies exist on the earth, okay? And in every culture, I'm not going to say most, every culture, these energies exist. They have different names, they have different depictions, different, personifications or whatever. Okay, so now that kind of gives you a little bit of insight on the actual Orishas themselves. And so when it comes to the initiation, I want to go through what my experience was like in detail in other videos, but I want to do I guess just an overall overview here in this video, okay? So when you first go into being initiated into any traditional system, you're going to learn and study this system, right? You're not just going to jump in because somebody said so, and because you want to be able to rock some Eleke bees, and because you feel like it's something to talk about. It's a connection that you're going to have. You're going to see these specific energies in Orisha talking to you and speaking to you in your dream. You're going to meet people that are going to come up to you and say things. It's going to be lined up. You're going to be like, well, That was such and such, such and such, such and such. You're going to see symbols everywhere. So let's start there. And that's how you know that the connection is real and it's for you and it's time. It's time because I took a year from when I wanted to initiate last year to initiating this year. And in between that time, I had nothing but, signs and symbols just like everywhere. So I knew it was time, and I knew if I put it off any longer that it could possibly be something that would work against me. At a certain point, it's like, okay, so either you with us or you're against us, or you in my way. Okay, so um, so anyway, you guys, before you set foot in an elay, which is a house or anybody's um residency to get initiated, you want to cleanse yourself, and you want to make sure that you prepare your ori or your head, the spiritual aspect of you, your crown, to receive the orisha. Just like a baptism, when you go to the waters to be baptized, it is a symbolic cleansing. It is a physical cleansing. It is a spiritual cleansing. It's not a physical cleansing. You're going to wear white when you walk up those steps to the behind the pew in the choir. And when they say, I baptize you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, and they dip you back, and you see this. For me, at the age of 9, when I went through, you see this rainbow, you see this white. That's your crown being cleansed. Those are your chakras being aligned. The elements and the different ingredients, because I grew up in church, okay? And I grew up in church behind the scenes because my family was in the church. So we went behind the scenes. I helped prepare the communion, and I know that the baptismal waters have certain ingredients in them, okay? So whether you're dealing with blessed waters or if you're dealing with a herbal wash, whatever you're dealing with, you're going to need cleansing. And some of us need a little bit more. So that's something that you're going to do before you get there, and you're going to get yourself prepared. That's my advice. And you can work with whatever energies and frequencies you want to. I love working with crystals. I keep the crystal bag tucked in my bra. I keep different herbs and roots on my persons because I grew up with a root worker. So that's just what I do. Okay. Now, when it comes to these things, also, what you want to do is you want to prepare yourself mentally, because you are crossing a threshold and you are walking into another dimension, and it is so the Twilight Zone. You are not the same anymore. You leave that initiation brand new, different. The old you is dead and gone. And it is a shedding, okay? It is a literal, physical, spiritual, emotional, mental shedding. Because you now carry a title. You walk with an Orisha. You are responsible for feeding them, meaning that you now uphold their values, their beliefs. You wear their colors. You wear their eleques, their symbols. You feed them. Whatever taboos exist that they don't like, you sometimes can't even rock with those things yourself, because you can mess your own energy up doing that. And before all of this starts, you get a spiritual reading. You want to get a reading or Odu, using different tools, an opele, the ikin. When you're dealing with a babaloa, that's what they're going to use, those tools for divination, not tarot cards, not pendulums, none of those things. So for me, I had gotten a divination done last year, and then with the Babalo out with a different one, and I just couldn't rock with the energy of that Babalo out, or the person who was telling me that she wanted to be my madrina, which I knew was a Santeria, Lukumi, whatever other aspect of Ifa term. And I was like, you guys are mixing up this stuff. I want to stick with the traditional, view. So I want a Ianifa or a Babaloao who is on the traditional path to speak with me, to be my godparent. So I did find one last year, initiated this year. We had kept in communication for a year. So what I realized was, first things first was I had to get my reading from who was going to initiate me, to make sure everything lined up with the Orisha that I was going to be initiated into. So that's the process. You get the reading done, you start the cleansing and preparing yourself ahead of time, and then when you get there, you go through a head washing. But before all of that, you go through shedding. If you're not already in touch with your ancestors, you learn to honor them, and they're called your Igungun, or your Igun. And ironically, the Orisha that I deal with, Oya, is actually over the Igungun, and she's also the keeper of the dead, which is something that I've been working with for years. I mean, I've been working with the dead. So, there it is. I said it. I've been working with the dead. It's so weird discussing these things in front of other people, but for my family members, my friends, they know me. I've had dreams of my family members and friends being certain deities in certain aspects, whether it was Orisha or other deities, goddesses, gods, because I feel like that's what we all come to this earth to do, to experience life as a human, but we originated from some other source beforehand, and then we're going to go back to a similar, different, a whole nother source afterwards. So it's just this system that keeps happening over and over and over. Almost like when you're looking at the tarot card and you have the Wheel of Fortune, it's like it just keeps happening, 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 happening. Now, I don't know if it ever comes to a certain point for some people, but if you listen to songs like Deja Vu, you'll hear artists like Tina Marie talk about how she's been here before, but she's not coming back anymore. And I feel like if you listen to people like Bobby Hemmett and Brother Panic and all of those guys who are a part of the conscious community, they talk about breaking those cycles of reincarnation as well. Some people and some traditions kind of look at reincarnation as a good thing. Some look at it as a form of punishment or whatever. Because once you reach a certain point of enlightenment, then you shouldn't be coming back. That's what some people think and say. And some people feel like once you reach that certain point, you're not coming back. And all of these things are debatable or individual, or maybe they are set in stone. I don't really get into that kind of debate. But what I wanted to say was that for me, I realized that my soul has done certain things before, because when I initiated, instantly, and there are certain things that I can't discuss with uninitiated individuals, but when I went through the initiation process, I instantly saw, well, yeah, and it wasn't her face, it wasn't her, it was a presence that was just immense. And I closed my eyes, and all the leaves and the trees in front of me were blowing. I had some balloons. It was like a big celebration that we had. All the balloons were blowing, like hitting me in the face, and we had fire lit, and all of the smoke was like coming towards me, and everybody there was kind of coming, like it's all like leaning towards her, pulling in towards her. And I felt the moment, which is why I have to keep my head wrapped. And it's not like, oh, you have to wrap your head like as a cute little new thing you do now because you're initiated, but you really are open, like migraine open. Like if I don't wrap my head, I will get a migraine, number one. And number two, I will start feeling like I'm just lethargic, drowsy, tired, drained. It's real. It's real. No, I don't need psychiatric help or anything like that, because I already know the trolls in the comments are gonna get started before you even get crunk. I have gone to therapy. There is nothing wrong with me. I am not psychotic. I am not even bipolar. I would have thought that at least, but no. I have an adjustment disorder, which means that I don't like starting over. I don't like new beginnings. And I see why now, because I'm a child of Oya, and change that she presents is like fierce and chop, 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 cut. Like, she don't play the radio, so she not gonna give you time. It's like having a parent that's like, okay, yeah, give me your cell phone, give me that laptop, give me that iPad. You can't leave the house. You got to go to school, come straight home until next semester when you pull that grade up. So it's like boom, like you just done. And so that's the thing that ironically I have to work on within myself, is being comfortable with change. I go with the flow and I go with the change, but guess what? I will be stressed out and depressed because something changed. Traumatic changes and drastic changes don't do good with me, even if it's for the best. Like, if I sold my first house that I used to do all of my handbag videos in, and I made a crap ton of profit selling that house. But guess what? I was stressed out and depressed, gained weight and everything because I just don't adjust. And when I went to therapy, that's what my therapist told me. So I say all that to say, since Oya is present in my life now, I deal with change on a different level. Um, I love the frequency that Oya vibrates to. I love the crystals that I work with, how they respond now when I put them on my Oya altar versus, just beforehand when I would put them outside or in a windowsill. I just love all the new energy around me. Um, so after the shedding process, then you go through getting your head washed, which is literally getting your head washed. Like, you are literally going to get an herbal head wash poured on you while you are standing up, while you're sitting down. Like, it's just going to get poured on you, just dumped on you, a big bowl of herbs that have been sitting. I don't want to mess up the Spanish name for the word. I know how to write it. Or let me stop. I'm not gonna mess it up. But anyways, um, and I did write down some different things about that experience. Um, if anyone works with crystals, then they know what that feels like. So that's what the crystals feel like. The frequencies and the vibrations of the crystals is what it feels like when you have those herbs poured over you.